In this tutorial, you'll learn how to activate the Categorization of Clinical Signs tagging field. This classification setting refers to what may have caused the abnormal physical exam findings. First, I'll talk about how to activate and display the Categorization of Clinical Signs tags, then how to customize them, and finally, how to use them in the patient record. The classification fields are hidden by default, so if you want to manually use them, you'll need to activate them, and here's how. So go to your settings, click on Settings, and then on the left-hand side in the wormed panel box here, click on Classification Tagging. You'll see here a box that explains what each of the classification fields are. And you'll see a warning, and this warning refers to what happens when you make customizations. And then here is what you're interested in, the Show Classification Fields. So you'll click Yes, and then click on Update Classification Settings. As you scroll down here, you'll see panels. So you'll see these tabs that have all of the 3 different tagging fields. And you'll want to click on this third tab, the Categorization of Clinical Signs. The terminology in this list is pre-populated with terms from the Clinical Wildlife Health Initiative, and you can use these terms as is, or you can add custom terms. It's important to know that your custom term must be assigned to an existing root or leaf node in the terminology hierarchy. So let's assume that your hospital wants to make physical injury as a clinical sign a little bit more specific. So this physical injury is the root term, so we can click on that. And if there's trauma, let's say we want to distinguish between acute trauma and chronic trauma, then we could click on this green Add Child term and then add our new term. So maybe it's acute, and then you want to just click Return, and then you'll have a new customized term here. You can add more than one term, so let's say we add another one and we want to distinguish chronic. Click Return, and then you'll have 2 terms here that are a little bit more specific and maybe something that you want to distinguish between. Now these edit and remove buttons, you'll need to be very careful, and it refers back up here to this warning. The warning is if you edit a custom term, all saved terms for your patients with that term will also update. So that's it affects your patients' records globally. If you delete a term, then all the saved terms for your patients with that term will also be deleted. So just to be aware that it does affect your patient records globally, so be very careful when you edit or delete. So in this case, let's say we want to edit, then we just click the Edit button. And then once we've made our corrections, we just press Return again. And if we wish to remove these, then we can click Remove. And you're going to be warned, making sure, are you sure? And click OK if you are sure. And again, with this one, let's say I want to remove that. Again, everything, it will be a warning. So once we have everything set and the way we want it, we click on Update Classification Settings. Now let's look at how this impacts a patient record. So let's go to the dashboard, and we're going to click on Northern Raccoon, and we'll go to the Continued Care tab, and you'll see here in the Diagnosis panel, Categorization of Clinical Signs. It's actually right underneath the Clinical Classifications tags. So to add a tag, you can click in the text box and then choose from one of the drop-down items here below. So let's say this raccoon had some kind of abnormal behavior. and possibly habituation. So let's say, now we can distinguish between these as well. We can click on this downward arrow and choose whether something is confirmed or suspected. So let's say we want to confirm that it's definitely abnormal behavior, but with the habituation, maybe it's more like suspected. A suspected tag will be yellow, whereas a confirmed tag will be blue. And if we wish to delete these tags, we can click on this pink delete and that will just disappear. Once we've made changes to our patient record, we scroll down and click on Update Patient. And that is how you can use tags in Wormed.